What is going on YouTube? Running Gun Sports back here with another video. Today is our college football weekly news update. We just released our NFL weekly news update, so if you have not checked that video out yet, please go do that. Leave a like on that one. Obviously, please leave a like on this one as well. If you've not subscribed already and you're listening, please subscribe. Please share this to your friends who love college football and NFL. We do both. So let's get right into the video. We got a lot of recruiting news and some other news going on in the college football world. So let's get into it. Cade Clerbrunk, four-star pro-style quarterback, commits to Clemson. Four-star cornerback Austin Jordan from Denton, Texas, announced his top three schools: Oklahoma, Texas, Ohio State. Texas produced some pretty good defensive back players, so that'd be a pretty big pickup for them. Ohio State as well, and Oklahoma really is not as known for their defense as much as their offense. And Oklahoma's more of a team that's known for really producing a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL: Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield. So we'll see where Austin Jordan does land from Denton, Texas. The top three schools are Oklahoma, Texas, and Ohio State. Four-star dual-threat quarterback Cade Martin from Knoxville Catholic commits to the University of Miami. He's a 6'2", 210-pound dual threat. He will also be playing baseball at the University of Miami this year. Earlier in the season for Knoxville Catholic, they faced Trinity Christian, which is Deion Sanders' son, Shador Sanders. Deion Sanders is the head coach. He's now coaching at the Jackson State University, and they're 2-0 right now. They're playing late in the season due to COVID-19, but they played and it was televised on ESPN, and Cade Martin looked very good. Got a good arm, can scramble, is very fast, and he throws it on the dot too. Just some great throws, gets it up to his receivers to make the play, and has a very athletic background. His brother is Amari Rogers, who plays wide receiver at Clemson, who played in the Senior Bowl this year. He'll be in the NFL draft. I'm sure he'll probably be drafted this year, maybe in the third or fourth round. And his dad is T. Martin, the Tennessee quarterback back in the day. He coached a little for Tennessee. I don't think he is coaching right now, but a very athletic background right there for Caden Martin. Alfonso Allen Jr. announces his top 12 schools out of 54 Division I offers: USC, UCF, Arizona State, University of South Florida, UAB, South Carolina, Florida State, and Texas A&M. Clemson, LSU, Alabama, Miami. Four-star safety from the state of Florida. We'll see where he does land. Four-star cornerback Kamari Rogers announces his top 10 schools. The number one player in the state of Mississippi. His top 10 schools are Mississippi State, Georgia, Miami, UCF, LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma from Holmes County High School. He is predicted to land at either Ole Miss or Miami, so we'll see where Kamari Rogers does land. Very talented player. Will he stay home or will he go to Miami? Miami's been pretty, I'd say, mediocre these last couple of years. We'll see how good they really are this year with D'Eriq King coming back. Obviously, the last game of the season last year in the bowl game versus Oklahoma State, D'Eriq King did tear his ACL in the Cheez-It Bowl. They did lose that game, a very close game, but Manny Diaz has been not as good as people would expect him to be, and I think it's going to be interesting to see whether Manny Diaz can get things turned around, because so far he really hasn't done much there. And when he faced his former coaching friend Mac Brown at North Carolina, they were absolutely throttled by them. It was a blowout. It was not even close. So I think, and it seems like Miami every year is the team that's, quote, their year. So I don't see what the hype is about, but they are recruiting very well, obviously, and if they can pick up Amari Rogers, that'd be a huge get for them. But I just think the coaching's not there, and I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if Manny Diaz is what his issue is, but they really need to figure something out. Or I honestly don't see Manny Diaz there for much longer, even though this year they had a losing record, actually 6-7, but they're still, quote, their year coming up. But I just don't see them doing that much. I don't think De'Aaron King is that very good. I think he's a bit overrated, but we'll see what happens in the next year. Steve Ng commits to Notre Dame as a four-star pro-style quarterback from Oradell, New Jersey, the same high school as Washington State quarterback Jarrett Garantano. Obviously, Jarrett Garantano originally was at Tennessee, which then he then transferred after this season. He'll probably start at Washington State. We'll see what happens there. Torreno Pride Jr., four-star cornerback from St. Louis, Missouri, announces his top 7 schools: Missouri, Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Oregon, and Auburn. Four-star tight end Keon Burnett from Anaheim, California, commits to USC, staying home locally. USC, I think, is going to be very good, as we released our very early top 10 preseason picks for the 2021 season, and I put USC in there, I believe, at 9th, because I just think that they're going to be a very good team. They're recruiting so well right now. Clay Helton, whether you like him or not, he was really, when he was first hired, he was the interim head coach there, and then he was re-signed after finishing out the season, and I think that he's honestly doing a very good job for considering the fact that people did not think he was going to do that well at USC. There's a lot of talent from Southern California, obviously, and keeping the talent home for the most part, which is very good. Miller Moss, who's one of the more exciting high school quarterbacks coming out of the draft, the high school level, that no one's really talking about right now. I can't wait to see him play at USC, and we'll see what happens. They do have Kevon Slovis coming back, so it'll be an interesting year for USC. Their defense was very strong last year, but did fall short in the Pac-12 championship versus Oregon. Five-star Alabama state champion Tony Mitchell announces top 12 schools: Auburn, Texas, USC, Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson, LSU, and Florida State from Thompson High School in Alabaster, Alabama. And if you did not hear or see, last year Thompson High School was playing Auburn High School in the state championship, and Thompson High School was down by 9 points with about a minute 23 left in the game, where Thompson High School got a touchdown, then got an onside kick and kicked the game-winning field goal. So just a crazy game. If you have not seen that, you can look it up on YouTube. Thompson High School versus Auburn High School in the state championship game at Alabama. Four-star athlete Dylan Tatum down to the top 4 schools: Michigan State, Michigan, Baylor, Notre Dame. 5'11", 190 pounds. Probably going to play running back just based off of his size, is going to be my guess. He's number 5 player in the entire state of Michigan. Drew Aller, 4-star pro-style quarterback, commits to Penn State. He's 6'5", 220 pounds. Penn State, with this commit, jumps from the number 8 spot in the 22 class rankings to the number 5 spot. And Penn State had a terrible year last year. They've actually lost quite a bit of players, and I think that they're honestly going to be pretty good. James Franklin's still recruiting. He's on the hot seat right now, but I think he is doing a great job considering how his job security is not great right now. 4-star quarterback Tanner Bailey commits to the University of Oregon. He is from the state of Alabama. 4-star running back Cody Brown commits to Miami. Former Tennessee signee is ranked in the top 10 running backs for the class of 2022. Wide receiver 4-star Isaiah Setanga commits to Texas A&M. Mission Hills, California, Bishop Almany High School cornerback Ephesians Prysock announces top 10 schools: Arizona State, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, UCLA, USC, Texas, Oregon, and Arizona State. Nicholas Singleton, 4-star running back, announces top 9 schools. He's 6 foot, 210 pounds, out of Reading, Pennsylvania. His top 10 schools are Ohio State, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Penn State, Texas A&M, Auburn, Michigan, Alabama, and Northwestern. Big Cat Brian, former Auburn defensive end, transfers to Auburn in reunion with his former head coach Gus Malzahn, who took the job at UCF a couple weeks ago. And I think that's going to be a good move for UCF. I think if Gus Malzahn can get some of his players to transfer over, which we'll see if he will or not. But I think they'll do pretty good. I think Gus Malzahn will honestly do fairly well at UCF. I think that they could honestly win the American League Conference in their first year. So a lot of potential for the UCF team, and we already know Gus Malzahn is a very effective recruiter and a very strong offensive-minded play caller. So we'll see what happens. Emmett Gooden, former Last Chance U star, the TV show on Netflix, has entered the transfer portal. Defensive tackle in the summer of 2020 was charged with a misdemeanor for assault. Was then dismissed on July 16th of the 2021 in 2020. Who then entered the transfer portal just this last week. No talk has been of who will sign him or not, and so very unfortunate news there. Just not good. And if you watched The Last Chance U, I did myself. I'm a big fan of the show. Fortunately, they're not doing football anymore. They switched to basketball. I was very upset about that, but he made some dumb decisions at some times, so it doesn't shock me that this kind of news comes out about Emmett Gooden. There's some late fouls, cost him the game on one of them, and just unfortunate. And we'll see if someone gives him another chance. That would really be his last chance. Les Miles will be receiving a $2 million payout after sexual assault allegations back in 2013 while at LSU came up. The Kansas athletic director Jeff Long said, quote, Les Miles was vetted before hiring. No red flags were found. He also goes on and claims that it was debatable if Les Miles had lied during the interview for the Kansas head coaching job after he was done at LSU. He coached at LSU for 11 years, won the 2007 national championship, two-time SEC champ, but just terrible news for LSU, and it's not good at all for that program for it to be coming out right now, especially 8 years later, and you question and hope that that it's not just one person. It was a student at the time at the university that he was flirting with apparently, and we don't know what was said and whatnot, but you just hope that there was only one person who witnessed it, but still one too many in my opinion, and was fired for a good reason. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like down below and comment. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Thanks.